I don't know. I think Charles said the white women, black men need to be giving up. Sisters, get it together. We need you. You know what? I'm glad that you said that because we do need to get it together. We honestly do. We need to get it together because we need each other, point blank. You know, there is no because. It's just because we need each other in order to finish building our nation that has been stagnant since really, a couple years after slavery. I mean, we was cool a little bit in the Jim Crow era besides occasional lynching here and there. But, I mean, we had stuff. We had our own stuff. And so we just need to get it together for each other. I will say that. And let's see. Hey, Dean, what's happening? And Secret Guardian says, Cyclops Eye answers the door. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. I just would have been like, I can't help you. Sorry, maybe homeboy down the way might need you, but you can't come in here. I mean, you got to treat them like a vampire. You know what I mean? What happens when you let a vampire in?
Once the rules of the vampires, once you
let them cross the threshold, you invite them.
Once you welcome them in, they can come in at any time.
They suck your blood.
Yeah, come in at any time at that.
I mean, I'm just saying, you use the vampire rule, brothers. What you want? What's your angle here? No, you can't come over the threshold. I don't need nothing you got. Thank you, and slam the door. Keep on pushing. And Al says, can you believe my mom said, tell Demetrius to turn the volume vocals down just a bit? Tell Mama I'm sorry. I do have a big, loud mouth. I speak very loudly, so please forgive me, you guys. If I'm too loud, please turn down your volume. I do it to help pick up the sound on the mics and the camera. So I do apologize if I'm blowing eardrums up. I could probably cut out the mic because I have such a big mouth. As Al sometimes reminds me.
Too much information there.
Not like that.
Oh, sorry.
Sydney says it was in February, not bi-week. Okay, so this.
Oh, the first assault.
So the first assault or the assault that we're talking about now, Sydney. And so Samuel says our athletes got to find a better cause, bigger to live for than themselves. If they did, I feel they wouldn't make stupid decisions and begin to use their platform to lead their people. Otherwise, the system will use them. And that's kind of why, too, brought up a Deontay Wilder, because he is using, I mean, from what I see, to Latie's point, I don't know all there is to know about Mr. Wilder, but at least the part we did see, he did decide to use his platform to highlight the oppression of his people. Because we know a lot of athletes get the money and run. They get the money and run and don't talk about. They talk about black people during Black History Month,
You don't hear a word from Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, I saw somewhere not too long ago where he gave a bunch of Jordans out to a school. So I guess maybe he's starting to come around. I don't know. I'm gonna kill you, Al. But because I just saw his comment. But yeah. And then so Charles says, beautifully said, D, we need each other. Yeah, we need each other.
We do.
Yeah, I agree. We as black women do have issues, but we all have issues. I mean, I don't think black women have more issues than white women. Unfortunately, black women just get, we get the short end of the stick when it comes to black women ain't being this, that, and the other. But hell, I mean, trust me, I've spoken to a lot of brothers who would disagree. They would probably say I have issues with black women, but goddamn it, I had issues with white women too. I know one personally that's a year older than me. No shade to nobody. Because I know she doesn't watch. But anyway, let's see. And then Sydney says his friends probably has something to do with it as well. Well, but how many times have we heard of the athletes? Michael Vick. His cousins and his friends had a dog fighting ring of pit bulls in his house, and then the dude goes to do a 2-3 year stint for something he wasn't even there for, although it was at his house. And so, yeah, you got to watch your friends. Have friends like LeBron James, who seems like they are very business oriented, and they're on the mission of making LeBron's brand great.
Yeah, well, I was telling this to a friend of mine earlier this week, as a matter of fact, and a lot of people don't realize this. Your family will bring you down quicker than somebody outside of your family. And they don't mean to do it, but I'm just saying, it's like if you let somebody, let's say you're renting to your cousin.
Right.
They might pay the rent the first 3-4 times, and then they figure, you don't
figure you're going to get this eviction notice is what's going to happen.
No, and they don't mean to do it, but, you really got to be careful of, and that's what happened in Michael Vick's situation. He was with his cousins. They thought, hey, no big deal. he's not here. We're
and every
occupying
time
the
you
spot.
see the man, and people tie him into being a dog murderer. I mean, he might as well. Not saying he should have, but he might as well just beat a woman. He would be beyond the glory,
Exactly.
And Cindy says the TM video assault. So that was in February. So that wasn't recent. Wow, I wonder why it's coming out now. Hey, Gloria, he says, to me, it seems black men refuse to learn from the last fallen black man. I mean, God, it's like, what is it going to take? We ain't talking about losing no job at no Piggly Wiggly or Walmart. No shade to anybody working there because a job is a job. We talking about a job that is a game changer. Sounds like he lost $30 million, if I'm not mistaken. So we're talking about to the tune of $30 million over some uncontrollable, or I guess it was controllable, but you chose not to control yourself. And so now you're in the unemployment line. That's baffling to me. But yeah, I mean, like, why not learn? That's what wisdom is, learning from other people's mistakes. And don't forget to hit the link, you guys, if you see it.
Can I say this, especially for the young men out there? And, and when you talk about this all the time, there's pee out there everywhere. So what's the rush between, you can get it anywhere. I mean, it's there.
Well, I mean, you men always say it. I mean, I've heard my dad say it plenty of times that men tend to think with the little head instead of the big head. Right. No, I think if you don't have any self-control, no amount of money is going to buy that for you. You have to do that yourself. I mean, there's, if money equals self-control, I mean, it seems like we would never hear about these things, but we do. And so, let's see. And then Cindy says, actually, he is doing a lot now, Michael Jordan. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing lately. And Gloria also said, many black athletes think when they get money, they get white, and they think they got white rights. Absolutely. But you know what, Gloria? They make them real clear that they really don't, right? I mean, I don't care what the circumstances is. You just not going to be on video beating up no white girls and get away with it. They're not here, you ain't. And so nothing reminds them more that they're a black man. And what does Kanye saying? All fall down, or one of those songs. You still a nigga in the coupe. No matter what kind of car you driving. Jay-Z told us very eloquently during his last album release. Still nigga. No matter how much money you making. I mean, how many athletes have we actually seen get pulled over and roughed up by the cops? I mean, you still a black man to them. And so Cindy says, good shade, D. And Al said, Al Jack's joke of the day, the black funeral home was going broke, so they made some unpopular decisions. The first was to discontinue the senior citizen discount. You know what? There's something really wrong with you. And Cindy says, and the sad thing, he did not have a guaranteed contract. Why? See, that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be going through your head when you peep out, as Secret Garden says, you peep out the Cyclops, the little eye. That's the kind of stuff that goes through your head. Okay, my contract ain't guaranteed. These girls ain't getting in. I mean, I'm just saying. They're not getting over here, vampire. And Charles says, F. Michael Jordan, nothing but love to LeBron James and his truth to the community, even after all that manufactured hatred for going to play for Miami. Okay, well, you said it. I mean, a lot of people are not huge fans of Michael Jordan because it is said that he has pilfered. I don't know how true the word pilfered is, but pilfered the black community of money to the tune of, I guess, billions by now, or millions, I would say, by way of his shoes, and not really giving enough of that back. But it sounds like maybe he is now. I don't know, but I think a lot of people share your sentiment. And Al says, why should the woke, quote unquote, people care that Hunt lost his job, his football contract, since he wasn't in solidarity with Cap? Oh, really? Well, see, I don't know anything about these people, but I mean, see, because if he wasn't, well, I don't think Kaepernick would have, co-signed or defended that kind of behavior. But it's like, gosh, Lee, at some point in time, brother, you got to realize that you are a brother. And they don't love you no more than they love old dude up the street who was a trash, man, or whatever the case is. They just love you right now because you're potentially, as you said, Al, they could have won the Super Bowl or whatever the case is. They don't love you past that. I mean, we've seen that. The NFL being 70% black, 100% white owned, and they treat these players like slaves. And so I guess it's all good until they get fired. I guarantee you now, especially with a name like Kareem, like really, I guarantee you now he's going to start to see the light, even though it sounds like he caused his own demise. And then Charles, you say it's called refrain. Stay away from anything that might seem too easy or that new. Yeah, I mean,
What am I
Donovan,
saying?
I know you the Duke of Edgemont and everything,
Yes.
but who could somebody you don't know, a strange woman, come up to your door and say, "Let me in, Big Daddy"?
In this neighborhood,
Okay, wait,
hell no.
I
not in
thought
this
you was gonna
neighborhood.
say it's been a long time. Yes.
No, hell no. In this neighborhood,
You know how long it's been? Hell yeah, but let somebody.
I mean, you got chicks walking the track up a couple blocks up and all this.
Okay.
You could catch something over here. You know?
You like my neighbors? Ain't anybody out there? Come on in, girl. Come on in. And then Sam used to say, "If you a fool with the money, then you are a bigger fool. If you're a fool without the money, then you're a bigger fool with money." Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're not
obviously,
taught finances. We're not taught finances.
Right. And the Gloria says, "I myself find it sad that many black men have fallen so far. The black woman is doing the most in leadership when it should be both. I love the brothers, but they looking bad through. They're looking bad through the black female eye." So basically, what she's saying is,
I agree.
From our viewpoint, y'all not doing a good job in regards, and I'm just because I've seen this argument a lot in regards to being the leader, stepping up and leading us. We're starting to see a lot of black women. Like we hear, like I don't subscribe to the whole Black Lives Matter organization. I get what they're trying to do. I know, well, yeah, I do get what they're trying to do, and I think it's an admirable effort. However, it's led by predominantly women. And I think the one guy on there, he's, a gay, no shade to gay people, but it's led by women. And most of them are gay and feminists. And so we also hear a lot of backlash. Well, the Black Lives Matter leaders, they're gay and they're feminists and this, that, and the other. It's like, well, if we had more men step up, not saying that they're not men who don't, but if we had more men to step up, the Black Lives Matter movement, which I haven't heard a lot about lately, they wouldn't be such an influence, because we know that the Black Lives Matter movement takes a lot of money from white supremacy. Yeah, they might be in the face of Democrats, but it's still white supremacy no matter what, because anytime a white entity gives a black organization money, they want to rule the narrative in that of the NAACP. I keep saying this, but no shade to the NAACP. I think their efforts were valid rather
in the 60s,
in the 60s and stuff. And even today, I'm not saying they don't do stuff in regards to black people, but
what do they do for black people today?
Well, I know just like on the local level, they go and do advocacy work. Wow. Okay. For, certain people and things like that. But we also know that organization was started by white people. And so a lot of those white people were big in the eugenics program. And those of you guys who don't know what the eugenics program is, it was originally called the Negro Project, in that they wanted to exterminate and eliminate, same thing, black people from America, because after slavery, we were now a deficit, or a negative, if you will. During slavery, we know that we were an asset because we picked cotton and made white people rich. And so after slavery was abolished, it's like, well, we don't have any need for these Negroes.
Them now. Yeah, they ain't going to work for free.
They're a burden on society, because now we got to try to do something for them. And then during that time too, during the eugenics program, you got to remember, black people were starting to wake up in that we were having, because we were segregated. We had our own communities and stuff.
And so building our own communities.
Yeah, so let's just get rid of them. So the point that I'm trying to make to tie it all back is that if we had more men step up like your Marcus Garveys did back in the day, then I know black people would be better off. But until black men start doing that, we got to stop downgrading and talking bad about black women who are trying.
Right. Now, I agree with you. You need more black men to step up. But how many black men out there that are listening to this show have got a mother that tells them to stand down? Don't do this. Don't go out there. Remember that video, that kid that was out there protesting, and the mother snatched him up?
Yep.
And embarrassed him on national TV rather than saying
all the rounds
right,
on TV and
you know
stuff.
What I mean? And so we're dealing with a couple of generations now.
But okay, but so this is me and Donovan's point of contention right here. Okay, so I get it. We do have a lot of black moms nowadays who won't let men, I guess you say, be men, but where they daddies at? Because if they had a good black man, a good black daddy, good black husband in the household, that woman would be like, darling, whatever you say.
Right.
She will follow his lead in regards to how to rear the children.
Right. But again, you've got these mothers out here who don't want to expose their kids to positive black men. A good example right now. My mom is probably listening to this show right now. And a lot of stuff that I say on the show or I do on the show, she does not like. But she realizes that I'm my own man. I'm a positive man, and it might take a little different than hers.
Right.
And she accepts that.
But you're fortunate enough to have a mom that knows that, freedom ain't free.
Right.
And so she doesn't, and while she's scared for you in some respects, she also understands that somebody's got to do it. It might as well be my son. But at the same time, because we hear this a lot, black women are doing this with the kids. But I'm like, okay, even if that black woman is not with that black child's black father, that's no excuse for the black father to be gone from his child's life. Regardless, I don't care what a woman. I know there's a lot of women out there that could be a lot to deal with, but no woman under the sun should make you stay away from your child.
Okay, but even if that father's locked up or whatever his situation is, and I say this all the time, and I try to be as fair as possible.
I'm gonna get to y'all guys' comments.
You've got a brother, you've got an uncle, you've got somebody in your family or that man's family that you can send that boy to learn. Now, if Uncle Ray is in the streets, of course, don't send him over there. But but Uncle Pookie, who's going to college,
right?
Give him that exposure,
right? Well, I mean, like we said before, we in this together. Right. Ain't nobody is shouldering the blame more than the other. Okay, and so Sydney says, wondering if he will pick up in 2020. Who is he? And then Charles says, Hunt is, Hunt get picked up in 2020. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? He said, Hunt is 22 or 23. Cap is older and have a great sense of self and his people. And Kaepernick is biracial. Yes, he is biracial, or actually raised by white people, you know. And Sidney says, so the Athletic reported his boys brought them to the room. Okay, so you're saying it was reported that his boys brought them to the room. He was having a party. He asked for an ID, and that's when he kicked them out. So that's the story that I read that didn't get reported on, I guess, on TMZ initially.
But they still dropped him off his contract.
Right. Well, because he put a foot to their ass.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, but he did it because they called him, from what they said, it was calling him all types of niggas.
That's still no excuse.
No, I agree. And Al says, did Aretha Franklin have a song called Chain of Fools? Yes, she did.
Absolutely.
And Sydney says, my issue with Black Lives Matter is so many fake websites, fake social media pages. It's hard to find the real websites. Yeah. Right.
Because everybody's decided to get their hustle on.
Where's the cash at with black people? The cash is with black people. All we got to do is throw a fist up. That's why, I see a lot of T-shirts, because I like black T-shirts with that black sayings, but I always try to research who's selling it, because I know most of the time it ain't us selling the shirt, so I'm not giving y'all no money to sell nothing to tell me about me.
Well, I can tell you this, the Jodi Arias shirts that says that she's a survivor, I bought a couple of those.
Yeah, I bet you did. Hey, Nancy says, when it comes to the black issue, gay or straight, it should not matter. At least they are willing to step up and fight for the good fight. No, I absolutely agree, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm homophobic, but the point that I'm making is we have a lot of black men who take issues with a movement like the Black Lives Matter, and I have my issues with them too. Being that they're gay is not one of them. I have more of a problem with them being a feminist than I do with them being gay. And so, no, I don't think that whether you're black, or whether you're homosexual or not, has anything to do with you loving black people. I mean, you are who you are, just like I am who I am. I always tell people I don't get wrapped up into the whole homosexuality thing, because I can only talk about my relationship.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that I know that are gay, and it doesn't affect what you do in your private time. That's on you. I just don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it.
I love them to death. I got cousins, all kind of people who are, of a homosexual nature. Right.
Now, do I condone the lifestyle? No, I don't. But
to me, I feel like it's not for me to condone. Right. Like you probably don't condone what I do.
Yeah, no, I'm saying condone it like would I do it? No.
Oh, yeah.
No, absolutely not. So.
All right. Okay. And then so Charles says, oh, yeah. Don't tone your volume down one bit, D. Respect the mother, but your voice and its volume is a gift. Oh, well, thank you so much. And Charles says, and black women need to give up on the feminist movement. They are using black women, but not joining the black women's causes. You better say that again for the people in the back. And Sydney says, and Donovan Sadiq, what happened to the black teen that was snatched up by his mom in Baltimore? Yeah,
I think that's the one we're talking about.
Didn't he get in trouble or something like that? Hey, Shay says, good evening from Atlanta. Good evening from Southern California.
ATL.
And Nancy says, I think that our people are so confused. I think that our people are so confused that they actually think we're doing our part, and they were actually doing enough, despite the fact that we never win in court or in government. Black people need to learn from the past how to be successful in the present when it comes to our rights. So absolutely. Well, me and Donovan are big advocates about this. Donovan and I, excuse me, yes. Negro. Sorry. Okay. We are huge advocates of us going to jury duty.
Yes.
Because what does it say in regards to the jury? A jury of your peers. Now, if you show up to a courthouse and you are looking in the jury box and there's nothing but white people there and you're black, what you think gonna happen? More than likely, you're gonna get the short end of the stick. And so when we say, because I agree with you, we need to be more proactive when it comes to our rights, but it starts there. Now, we know most of the time, the judge, the judicial part of it is stacked against us. Well, hell, if we show up to jury duty, that'll at least be a little bit in our favor.
It worked for OJ.
Right. It worked for OJ, and it's worked for a lot of people who have black juries, but we can no longer complain about not getting a fair trial if we don't show up to jury duty.
And also to vote for that district judge.
Vote for that judge, because a lot of times those judges are, they have a track record of sentencing black people harshly than anybody else just because. I mean, we don't show up to city council meetings. We don't show up to jury duty. We're just uninvolved. The perfect example of that is Ferguson, Missouri, in that when Mike Brown was murdered by the police, it was discovered that 90% African Americans in Ferguson, but all the city council and all the higher up positions were white. And when people got wind of that, they flipped it around. They got a black mayor. They got, I think, predominantly or half city council. They got a black police chief. So they've turned things around because it was operating like a plantation.
And real quick, what do you think happens to that DA judge that ran for the DA 2 or 3 times on, what's their main slogan?
Tough on crime.
He's tough on crime. He runs to be a judge is his next level if he doesn't run for state attorney general or something like that.
Right.
They do that. Also, you got to remember that when Minister Farrakhan says this all the time. You don't want to deal with the court system? Stop putting yourself in the court system and obey the laws.
Well, yeah, most definitely don't put yourself in the court system, but we know that there are times where black people
it's beyond our control.
You're right. We get snatched into the court system, and especially, we're sentenced unfairly due to some of these judges.
Yeah.
They'll give, Jacob a house arrest for rape.
And the same thing happened with the black guy.
But give, Jerome 8
Life.
years for a bag of weed, and so... I mean, I agree with you, Nancy. We got to show up.
We got to show up.
And then Al says I think that was Nancy who said that. Yeah, it was Nancy. And then Al says the black couple I was sitting next to at the game, I heard one of the sisters say she brought and read the entire Michelle Obama book, and not once did she mention anything about speaking energy and positivity into black people. So she said that's what she read about. Well, I mean, come on now. Listen, I'm not trying to offend anybody who is a fan of the Obamas. I like the Obamas too. But when as Oprah, their best friend, will say, when you know better, you do better. But I think now it has been really revealed that the Obamas were never really, even though they were black, they were never pro-black in that they advocated for black people unapologetically. I mean, it's not surprising to me that Michelle Obama wrote a book, and look at what they're trying to do to her. I've seen pictures of them putting her books by the bathroom in the back. They're giving Trump the sale from her books to Trump. I mean, so they're doing a lot of heinous things to her too. But it's like, how ironic. You won't even talk about black people.
But here's people got to keep remembering the Obamas were not put into office to do with anything with black people. They were put there to stop the Occupy Wall Street movement that was making people jump all over the place.
Well, yeah, we know that, but black people didn't know that. I mean, let's be honest. I voted for the man because he was black. I ain't gonna lie to kick it.
And the Democrats knew that.
Right. And they knew that because predominantly black people vote Democratically, about 85%.
And Bush was on his way out. The Obamas were put there specifically to guard and work for Wall Street establishment. Right. Period.
And Nancy says, honestly, I think the Black Lives Matter movement has fallen. It is more of another black organization that many will soon forgot exists. They had a good chance to do something during the Obama era. Now that they are in the Trump era, they are not even a part of the conversation anymore. Yeah, I mean, and not only that, you guys, please remember to click the link if you want to comment. But not only that, Black Lives Matter movement was tarnished a lot by white supremacy. Go figure, right? Talk about, there's a black militant group. They're violent. Yes. To my knowledge, Black Lives Matter haven't killed anybody. In fact, a lot of their leaders have been murdered. And so they framed them in the narrative of the same way they but they did to the Black Panther movement in the 60s, and that this is a militant terrorist, homegrown terrorist group. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. And so, but again, as we said, we know that Black Lives Matter got $30 million from George Soros, who is a big time Democrat. What do you call it? Booster supporter. He was huge in supporting Hillary Clinton. We know what Hillary Clinton did to black people.
Especially in Haiti.
Yeah, in Haiti and Libya. And so you just, to me, you just got to kind of follow the breadcrumbs. Like, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. Connect the dots.
Yeah, and here's the fact about Hillary. A lot of people don't realize when she was Secretary of State, she sold more arms to other countries than any Secretary of State up until that time.
Right. Well, we're with her. You with her?
No.
No?
Definitely
you sure?
Not with her. I'm positive.
What about if she runs in 2020? You're not going to be with
Hell no.
How dare you? You're black, ain't you?
I'm going for Cory Booker. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And Cindy says, no, that brother is a successful young black man. So he is a successful young black man now.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Well, that's good to hear. But I read, too, that his mother ended up with some financial difficulties and stuff. She was actually lamenting about the fact that she had went on all these television shows and things like that. And people was like, you go, girl. You all this other stuff. And then when it came time for her to, be
cash
in need, she ended up getting evicted and just a whole host of things that happened to her. So she was like, okay, well, where are all these people now? So I just thought that was kind of
How many examples?
I have
no words.
I don't have a problem with the lady getting her son from danger
because
he was a minor. But I do have a problem with her. See, because I don't know if I would have went on all these television shows saying, yes, I did, girl.
Right. Well, no, what I'm saying is we have to, like what you say all the time. Nobody's going to save us. Why are you waiting for this big payday? It's not going to happen. You're dealing with people who have shown you time and time again.
The mom was just a media story. She was the topic of the week.
Right.
Hey, let's get her on. You think she'll come on? Oh, yeah, come on there. And I'll tell you how
This is how you black women should be holding down these young black men. That's exactly what she did.
True, but I think she should. Somewhere in that conversation, somebody should have said, "Well, this is how the black family needs to." Because let's just say it this way too. I get, she thought she was saving his life, which sounds like he's doing good now. But what about in the 60s?
All those young men that got killed and
all the
missing.
young men that were out there, stomping for civil rights and things like that. Although I tend to agree with Malcolm X in that he said, Martin Luther King had black women and children out there getting water hoses and dogs and stuff. And to, I think it was Nancy or was it Gloria, made the point that, black men need to step up. Why y'all got these women and kids out here doing a job y'all need to do?
Because most of us were in jail during the Birmingham, stuff like that. They were doing that.
Okay. And then, so we got about, I'll get to it. And so, let's see, because that's going to be last. Let's see. Al says, at the Texas game this past week, they had a video tribute to Bob McNair. They mentioned he was a faithful Christian. You can be a Christian and still be a racist.
Of course, absolutely.
You see Trump, don't you?
No, he's not a Christian. He's a devil. He's a devil.
I know, but I'm saying him and his homies profess to be Christians with the family values party, and these were the big time highfalutin Christians. But
I'm paying for prostitutes, and
we dabble in a little racism,
prostitution,
which some people
crimes.
would say is synonymous in America. Christianity and racism.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. And Nancy says, it really comes down to unity, and still there is more than a few thousand dedicated black people doing the work on our behalf with little or no support from the Mahindi quiet millions. I think he said from the many quiet millions of black people, period. We will only gather crumbs of success instead of achieving real success that changes something permanently. Yeah, I mean...
Yes, thank you, Nancy, for acknowledging what me and Dee try to do here.
Oh, stop.
That's what we're saying.
But yeah, I mean, we need each other. That's the end of the day, and I would say this to black men, and I guess I say this to black women too, but I guess I'm just speaking from a black woman. You gonna stab me?
You're right.
From a black woman's point of view, stop buying the narrative that black women ain't shit. I mean, I know we need to stop doing it too. But,
women, stop dancing to a disrespectful music.
Well, not only that, but, the narrative, I need to go. Black men, go be with another race of woman because she going to treat you better.
No,
black women don't do this, but the other races of women going to do that. No, that's bull. That's bull. A woman a woman is going to respond to you probably how you respond to her.
Now, caveat. depending on her basic background and how she was raised, makes a significant difference. So if you're a brother that was raised in the suburbs and you get a girl that's like from the streets, her value system is going to be significantly different. And your expectation. So
I mean, just because she's from the street.
No, no, that ain't what I'm saying. That she's a bad person.
I don't want you have highlighter all over yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that that, but I'm just saying that's going to be a significant problem.
It's called a courting process. Make sure you're compatible.
Right.
You know. Hey, Dennis, what's happening? And Ali says, "Hey, Donovan. After today's loss, the Packers fired their head coach, Mike."
What?
Listen, goddamn, we ain't talking about no football up in here, okay?
Sorry.
We ain't talking about no football. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Sydney says no to Booker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that guy thinks he's going to be the next Obama, but that ain't going to happen.
Right. And so Deanna says Donovan knows damn well he is the main one who watches these women dancing to the disrespectful music.
I'm doing that for research purposes only, so that when I come on the show, I am knowledgeable about what is going on. The drop it like it hot thing or whatever that thing is. I'm trying to figure it out.
Are you writing a book?
No, I'm just, making sure that I, that when I talk about these things that I know what I'm talking about. It's called strategic research.
Sounds legit.
No, you got me on that one, though. She did.
Well, hell, I mean, Deanna also said, you're saying a lot of problematic stuff for me, Donovan. Deanna will be back next week, end of this month.
Deanna, the bottom line is it's a social construct.
That's Deanna's word, a social construct.
Everything's a social construct.
Being my daughter. But yeah, I mean, at some point in time, we have to just, we have to realize that we need each other. I should have put my phone on vibrate. I apologize to you guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me do that really quick.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. And so I want to get into my last portion of the show. We got about 15 minutes. And so I'll go ahead and get started. And I'll continue to... Oh, thank you. Wrong notes. I'll continue to get you guys' comments. And let's see. Sydney says, Donovan, you're like LeBron in purple, in the purple and gold.
Oh, man. I don't know if that's good or bad.
All right. So I want to close my commentary with this, and I want you guys to comment if you feel led to do so. All right, and so Cindy says, and where is Amanda? I don't know. She might be watching. Sometimes she just kind of incognito. And then Deanna says, don't make me get Black Twitter to cancel you. Damn. And Al says, I just tell my friends to plan next year's New Orleans trip -1. Okay. All right, so last Friday, I had the privilege to attend a play by Misty Monroe Clark called Unapologetically Black.
I went to.
Yeah, oh yes, that's right. Donovan was there, and you know what? I want to just give you you did so well.
I did.
Because Donovan don't usually do well in events sort of like that, but this man, you're a trooper.
Yes.
Okay?
I'll relate.
So me and Donovan and my little niece, Fluffy, I'm taking her with me because I want her to learn a little bit more about being Black. A lot more about being Black, actually. So last Friday, I had the privilege to attend a play by Misty Monroe Clark called Unapologetically Black. She talked about struggling to be her true Black self because she grew up in two different environments. One in South Central Los Angeles and up north in San Francisco in a predominantly white neighborhood. All right. Now, while she was discovering the Black side of life, she was told about an African-American abolitionist named Henry Highland Garnett. Now, specifically, Misty was told about a speech titled Call to Rebellion that he had given to slaves in 1834 to encourage them to rebel against their owners. Now, she recited a portion of that speech in her one-woman play that sent chills through my whole body.
Really?
Yes, I was like, ooh.
Wow, okay.
Right.
Okay.
You probably didn't see it because you was sitting under the heat lamp.
I was sitting under the heat lamp, yeah.
Right.
Watching that lady's hair fry.
You stupid. So she read the following. So bear with me. Now, of course, I will not ever read it as beautifully as she did. She read it with so much emotion and just, gosh.
Yeah. Very powerful.
It was very powerful because she also competes in speech and debate. So this was one of the speeches that she read, and she said it off the top of her head. Now, the speech is actually really long, but this is the part that she read. And it goes like this. It is in your power so to torment the God-cursed slaveholders that they will be glad to let you go free. If the scale was turned and black men were the masters and the white men the slaves, every destructive agent and element would be employed to lay down the oppressor. Danger and death would hang over their heads day and night. Yes, the tyrants would be met with plagues more terrible than those of Pharaoh. But you are a patient people. You act as though you were made for the special use of these devils. You act as though your daughters were born to pamper the lust of your masters and overseers. Don't laugh at me.
No, I'm reading the comments. Go ahead.
Oh, and worse than that, tamely submit while your lords tear your wives from your embraces and defile them before your eyes. In the name of God, we ask, are you men? Where is the blood of your fathers? Has it all run from your veins? Awake, awake. Amen. Millions of voices are calling you. Your dead fathers speak to you from their graves. Heaven, as a voice of thunder, calls you to arise from the dust. And again, this was Henry Highland Garnett, who was an abolitionist back in the 1834, who was talking to fellow slaves and saying, basically, what's wrong with you guys? Why are we not revolting against these people who do us harm? What's wrong with us? You know, because as he said in that little part that I read, as I said, it was very long, but the part that I read, he said, had the tables been turned, they would have did it to you. Like he says, why are you patient and waiting for somebody to free you? Why not free yourselves? And so that speech was rendered almost 200 years ago. And here we are with the same question. Mm-hmm. Why are we waiting for somebody else to free us instead of freeing ourselves? And like I said, when she spoke those words, I was just taken aback because I was like, God, Lee, even in 2018, that passage is so apropos because we are still there. Now, we're not physically in slavery, but mentally, financially, and every other way we are enslaved, but yet we keep waiting for somebody, I don't know, at this point, Trump to write legislation to say that black people, you matter. We're waiting for something other than ourselves to free us. And so I impress upon everybody, his name was Henry Highland Garnett, and the speech was called The Call to Rebellion. Look it up and read it. Where he is back then, like I said, almost 200 years ago, impressing upon black people to cut your own damn shackles. What you waiting on? Now, admittedly, he was free. His family had escaped to the north, New York, when he was about 9 years old, but he got it. His parents didn't wait for the slave master to cut them loose. They cut themselves loose. And obviously he was taught about being a free black man. And so he went and, preached it to the other slaves like, yo, I did it. You can do it too. What are you waiting on? These people ain't going to give you nothing. Why would they give you something, cut you loose, and you making them all this money? Mm-hmm. They ain't going to pick their own cotton. They got you to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, and so we know that there's been plenty of abolitionists, one being Nat Turner, who was like, I'm tired of waiting, and he did what he can do. But we just need to get to that point. Now, listen, I'm not saying we need to go kill people. Please, Lord, don't think that I'm saying that. But we need to free ourselves specifically by stop giving the oppressor all of our money. Economically, we need to stop there. And also, we need to add into that, if not first, Benny, who was not on here, he's still in mourning, and so that's understandable. But he always makes it a point to say that we need to practice self-love and get knowledge of self, because without those things, we'll never understand. If we have $1.3 trillion in our hand, we'll never understand how to use it, because we don't love ourselves enough to say, I will never give all of my money to a people who dislike me again. It'll be a cold hard day. I mean, like last week I think it was a nail shop where the Asian gentleman finally went to jail because he had put his hands on yet another sister. They said that he had done it once before, but this time he got caught on video. On video, that's the only reason. But yeah, it's like it's a shop full of black women. And they're saying, oh, he got caught this time. Why do you have your black ass in these nail shops and then you professing out your mouth that this man did it once before? How dead do we have to be to keep giving these people our money?
Girl, I'm getting a fill for $4.
You fill your own nails for $4. Fill your own nails. Listen, I got nubs, y'all, but I paint my own nubs. I just cannot consciously. I cannot consciously give these people my money knowing how they feel about black people. And yet, and this is to your point that you made earlier, so I will concede this point even though you was being silly, in that these black women who keep taking themselves into these nail shops are going to cost some brother who is trying to defend them his life because he's going to go up there and try to confront these people and or potentially get locked up or something because you won't stay your black ass out of these nail shops. So it's like at some point in time, we got to stop saying, well, black men are this, that, and the other to us, and then going and doing the total opposite. There was a time where black women, see, this is why I admonish black women. There was a time where black women actually listened to the black man. If the black man said, baby, stay home. Black man, stay out of them nail shops. Black woman, stay home and cook. Black woman, stay home and raise these kids. It was a time we did that instead of bucking the system. So you can't buck the system.
No, not bucking the system, bucking the man.
Bucking the man. Well, that's the system I'm talking about. You can't buck the man and then complain that he don't want to do nothing for or with you. You can't have it both ways. I'm sorry. But let's see. And then Nancy says, Al Jackson, I'm sad to say, represents a part of the problem because he still supports the plantation playing field. Football is a high playing plantation full of slaves why are you laughing, Donovan? Who are told to be quiet and play football, period. How can we be taken seriously when we keep supporting the enemy?
Well, here's the thing, Nancy. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but I'm a rabid
football fanatic.
Dallas Cowboy fan.
Well, do tell.
And I can either do that or I can go get on drugs like some people. They have their vices. I'm just saying, some people, if that's what
so it's like either drugs or football?
No. But what I'm saying is, if that's his pleasure, his guilty pleasure, he deserves that.
Okay, listen. I don't watch football. Admittedly, I wasn't a big football fan even before the Kaepernick thing. But again, as I was admonishing the black women about the nails, I cannot, in good consciousness, watch football knowing how they feel about black men. I can't do it.
Gotcha.
I don't care if my favorite team, as I always say, and I'm a huge Kaepernick supporter, even though I see a lot of black people trying to turn on him. I don't care. I support this brother because him of all people did not have to do what he did. He's gorgeous, rich, famous. He didn't have to do none of that stuff.
Nope.
He could have said, that's y'all niggas' problems. I'm up here living a good life. The police ain't ever going to do none of that stuff to me. It's a smaller chance that they will anyway. But he risked it all to bring awareness to the ills that black men go through in America through the police brutality and wholesale murder of black men and the unjust laws that we are subjected to. And so I cannot, in good conscience, sit in a football stadium
I hear you.
or watch a game. That's just me. Now, I'm not shading nobody else who does. But that's my stance.
Right, exactly. Now, and I support Kaepernick too, even though he played for the wrong teams. He didn't play for the Dallas Cowboys. But 70% of the NFL is black men. Where were his compatriots in arms to support him? Because all they had to do was get a majority of those black guys to not play or do what he did. It would change the whole narrative.
It's easy to do. That's like I said, when we complain about, let's say, Walmart, for example. For those of you guys on the podcast, I will hear from you guys, or you guys will hear from me next week. So that's to me like consumers who complain about Walmart and how they do their employees. They got them working on Christmas and all this other stuff. You know what? Walmart couldn't do that to their employees if we would stay out of Walmart until they treat their employees right. And so if fans, black fans especially, of the NFL would say, you know what, I'm standing in solidarity with my black brother because me more than him, I'm more likely to get pulled over and get my head blown off by one of these trigger-happy police officers. So I'm going to stand in solidarity with him. So, yeah, we can blame the players, but the players ain't going to have a job if we don't watch.
But there isn't a league if the players say absolutely not.
Right, and also with all the money these players are making, they can go start their own league. Yeah, it'll be small at first, but damn, they got all the talent anyway.
Yeah, pretty much when they realize that all the sponsors are going to come over there.
But this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad basically said that you can go to the cemetery and get more life out of the dead than you can black people. And so
Amen.
My mother always hated when I talk like that, although she knew I was right, because she says that is negative. But hell, how dead do you have to be to justify and continue to give money to white supremacy that will never accept you? They have done this man Kaepernick so wrong. I mean, even didn't they just rehire somebody else who's accused of domestic violence over Kaepernick?
Yes.
And yet we gonna go sit our happy black asses and give these people our money? Hell, you might as well go get a slave owner,